Digital Pilipinas, bringing together the world's industry leaders in a multi-month movement of innovation and nation building to solve the country's age-old problems with technology. Technology can be our nation's strength and advantage as we showcase Filipino tech expertise to make a lasting impact on the country, influence change, and foster inclusion through technology and innovation across local and global spheres. To do this, Digital Pilipinas champions a 12-point agenda that provides solutions while leveraging on ICT-driven opportunities. FinTech, GovTech, and RegTech. PropTech. Digital transformation. Overseas Filipino banking. Future of mobility. InsurTech. E-commerce. Cybersecurity. Internet of Energy. Future of education. Digital cities. Gaming. The 12-point agenda will be our guiding star as we trade with trust, encourage cross-border collaborations, e-commerce, open finance, and work hand-in-hand with national and global tech leaders. Digital Pilipinas is a legacy in the making. In 2019, Amor Maclang, FinTech Philippines Executive Director, and Geyser Maclang Marketing Communications Incorporated co-founder, led the Philippine delegation in the Singapore FinTech Festival. In 2020, the country joined the ranks of emerging leaders in the largest event for global tech innovators, the World FinTech Festival. Now, Ms. Maclang, the appointed convener of the World FinTech Festival Philippines, is taking it a step further by gathering the brightest minds to establish the roadmap of the country's technological future with Digital Pilipinas. In the coming months, we will create the Digital Pilipinas Blueprint. It is a whole-of-nation, whole-of-society, whole-of-business approach with national leaders, foreign partners, and the private sector. Filipinos are at the heart of the ASEAN digital revolution, with Asia as the sandbox of innovations. With Digital Pilipinas, our nation will collectively break barriers, tech up industries, and go beyond what seemed to be impossible before. Watch out for our different events and programs in the following months featuring Business Without Borders, Real Estate and PropTech, EduTech, InsurTech and HealthTech, Environment and Sustainability, Diversity and Inclusion, Esports and Gaming, Cyber Defense and Cybersecurity. Get ready to join our biggest initiatives during the Global Impact FinTech ASEAN Conference, the Risky Business Series, the World FinTech Festival Reduxes, the Singapore FinTech Festival, the Next Generation Leaders Conference, culminating in the launch of the World FinTech Festival Philippines in November. Join the movement and be part of the country's digital revolution. Contact us by email and through our Facebook pages to learn more and be part of the Whole of Nation, Whole of Society platform for global and local prosperity. Digital Pilipinas is supported by the following partners and prime movers in innovation and nation building from the government and private sectors. Join the movement today. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Mabuhay ang Digital Pilipinas.
What if your everyday is easier? What if your tasks are faster? What if you never have to chase due dates ever? What if your life is safer? What if your dreams are higher? What if kaya mo na? GCash gives you secure payments, real-time money transfers, accessible financial services, exclusive deals, and a full suite of business solutions para kaya mo na sumabay sa takbo ng buhay. Kaya mo na to stay connected. Kaya mo na magbayad anytime, anywhere. Kaya mo na mag-buy and sell. Kaya mo na to get exclusive deals. Kaya mo na magpera padala. Kaya mo na gawing safe ang future. Kaya mo na abutin ang pangarap. Kaya mo na makatulong, magbigay ng pag-asa. Kaya mo, GCash mo.
Building and maintaining a strong security posture for today's application is no longer an option, it's a necessity. Cybercriminals are now persistent. They would do everything to penetrate your application and steal your data. Companies need a security solution that keeps pace with rapid digital transformation and the evolving threat landscape. To defeat them, you have to be smarter than them. But this isn't an easy task. You have to ignite hundreds of the world's best cybersecurity professionals to outsmart them. So we at Secuna could help by connecting you to hundreds of the best cybersecurity professionals around the world. Here is how it works. Secuna collaborates with you to define the scope and goals of your program. Upon program launch, our roster of cybersecurity professionals, or what we refer to as Secuna Red Team, will test for security vulnerabilities in your applications. We then triage, validate, prioritize and provide you with a detailed report complete with vulnerability reproduction and remediation so you can focus on what's truly important. What's left for you to do? Award them for their reports to encourage them to perform more security testing. Why do customers choose Secuna? Trusted cybersecurity professional network. We screen all the cybersecurity professionals before we let them join our platform to ensure only the best of the lot get to work with you. Flawless vulnerability management. Handling of security vulnerability is now more easier and flawless. Secuna allows program owners to manage security vulnerability on their own. Continuous penetration testing. Cybersecurity professionals continuously run tests on your product while also working to remediate any discovered issues. Vulnerability patch verification. Right after you deploy a patch, cybersecurity professionals can retest the vulnerability and request to bypass it to validate the patch. Cybersecurity professional reputation. Top hackers are recognized based on hackers' quality of submissions. Seamless bug bounty payments. Regardless if you prefer bank transfer, PayPal, or Bitcoin, we accept all kinds of payments and we'll process the payments to our cybersecurity professionals. Ready to take your cybersecurity to the next level?
A pleasant morning to all of you. My name is Donel Martinicio, your host for today. On behalf of RootCon, Digital Pilipinas, and Geyser Maclang Marketing Communications Incorporated, I would like to welcome you all to the official launch of the upcoming 15th edition of RootCon, the Philippines' largest hacking conference and information security gathering, scheduled on October 12 to 15. RootCon brings together local and international high-caliber technical speakers, experts, and leaders from the field of cybersecurity in an interactive 4-day conference. The theme of today's launch, hackers and the role they play in creating a cybersecure digital Pilipinas. Most of you would probably agree that the words hacking and hacker almost always bring about negative connotations. However, not all hackers are created equal. There are those who use their technical hacking skills for good and noble reasons. They are the white hat hackers who are bound by an ethical code. Everyone, are you ready to get acquainted with the immune system of the internet, also known as the ethical cybersecurity experts and white hat hackers? This morning, we'll learn more about the critical role that hackers play in protecting Philippine cybersecurity. We'll hear from distinguished and trailblazing leaders and speakers from the hacking and cybersecurity field, including the founder of RootCon, Mr. Dax Labrador, also known as Semprix, and the RootCon goons, Emanon, Shipcode, Oxmon, and Devno. We'll also hear from some of the country's top cybersecurity officers from Secuna, GCash MYNT, Globe's FinTech Innovation Incorporated, and KPMG Philippines. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Amor Maclang for the opening remarks. Ms. Maclang is the co-founder of Geyser Maclang Marketing Communications Incorporated and the convener of Digital Pilipinas, a pioneering movement driven by policy and legislative advocacy, meaningful business connections, regulatory advocacy, mass adoption for nascent technologies, and ecosystem building. She is an award-winning brand architect, risk crisis reputation strategist, movement maker, and marketing and communications innovator. As an internationally awarded champion of marketing as a force for good, her projects demonstrate that you can hit your business goals while still doing good for the country. She is a champion of technology, digital transformation, and innovation. Everyone, please welcome Ms. Maclang for the opening remarks.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and good morning to our RootCon community. Manong Docs, I have spoken in many conferences all over the world, but I have to tell you, I'm super nervous today, super nervous and excited at the same time. I'd like to thank our RootCon community for believing and also supporting the advocacy of Digital Pilipinas. Digital Pilipinas, as you very well know, is a whole of nation and a whole of country approach to the problems of our country related that can be solved by technology. So we have a 12-point agenda that we want to take on for the country. And next slide. I just want to keep it brief because I really want to hear from all of you. To our RootCon goons and our RootCon manongs, this is the first time I think that we brought together big businesses working and supporting the community. And I think I can speak in behalf of KPMG, Secuna, and GCash that we're all super honored and excited to be part of this event. So we were talking about a 12-point agenda. Most of them are problems of our country that are easily addressed by technology. I'm not even going to talk about financial inclusion because that problem is already being addressed by many out there. I want to be able to discuss today the importance of bringing the fringe communities to the front and center. So for example, esports. Before you had Hidlin Diaz, many people probably do not know the fact that our esports players in the country have been putting the Philippines in the map, right? And while e-commerce, for example, has grown exponentially by leaps and bounds here in the Philippines, primarily due to the pandemic, a lot of the e-commerce is still very foreign-based. So we want to be able to reverse that trend and make it about e-commerce for Filipinos by Filipinos. And we have an entire portfolio of activities and sandboxes and advocacies that are focused on that. Now, you see here, we are also bringing into the tech space the most marginalized MSMEs. And by micro, we mean those with an average ticket price of 3 million and below. Napakaliit niyan, right? Napakaliit na mga negosyo. And yet they're the ones who need this the most. Now, in all of this, cybersecurity has really been an unspoken, cybersecurity and cyber defense has really been an unspoken need in the country. And this is where we are extremely proud and honored to be working with some of the most important voices in the cybersecurity and cyber defense space. And how can we not work on cybersecurity together without one of its most important champions? And that would be, many of you are represented in the RootCon community. We need you. We need you very much in the building of a cyber-secure digital Pilipinas. Last June 2021, And I have, Manong Dax, a laundry list of asks. This is where I hope we can work together for the country. Last June 2021, the Paris based Financial Action Task Force, or the FATF, has included the Philippines in the gray list. So basically, being in the gray list says that you're like ripe for cyber crimes, right? Or cyber financial crimes. We need to work together that as we are becoming the hub for technology, for fintech, for payments, not just in ASEAN, but in the world. Nakita nyo naman, di ba? Dati, our technologists have been flying out of our country, but now you see the reverse is true. Some of the best and brightest from all over the world are choosing to domicile and be here in the Philippines, no? Because we are now an emerging hub, not just for fintech, but for technology. And there has never been a better time to be a Filipino and also to be in technology. We also need you in fintech. So the Philippines is one of the strongest supporters of the World Fintech Festival and the Singapore Fintech Festival. And one of the things that we are working on and that we are championing would be, how do we have, right? And you guys will so get it. The rest of the world does not get it yet, or at least the Philippines. One API per business. How do we all come together in a digital economy using APIs, right? Because, like I always say, I like to put it simplistically for the non-tech people, non-geeks out there. If we're going to converse effectively in a digital economy, we need to have the one singular universal language of love, which is APIs, right? And you'll be surprised, guys. Many of the big businesses in the country are still not, they still do not have their own APIs. How can we be truly digital if we don't? Additionally, we are going to be rolling out in November of 2021. Next slide, please. A certification and an academic program that's accredited out of Singapore in partnership with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the National University of Singapore, and also certified on the blockchain, right? By Affinity, which is a fully owned certification company by Temasek. Now, why am I raising this with you? To my RootCon goons and brothers and sisters, we need your help to get the gospel of certified ethical hacking out there. I want to make it a foundational course. I remember when I was talking to the chairman of 8 Ventures, and who made the Sikuna partnership here possible also. Thank you, AJ and Jay. They told me that, and this really stuck in my mind, Amor, there could be, the new digital economy could really be fueled by more and more white hat hackers emerging from all over the country. So we need you once again as we make ethical hacking even more mainstream and accessible. So the only way we can make a cyber secure community is if we work together. Now, we also have a platform in Digital Pilipinas, and we would like for you to use this platform in order to get the word out about the community, so you can reverse the narrative, right? In the same way, when I first got involved in the crypto spring, the ICO, the proliferation of ICO races, no, in 2017. There were good actors, there were bad actors. And as you can see, the good actors continue to persist to this day. I believe that in the same breath, just because it sounds controversial, the converse narrative when it comes to hacking has been over amplified in the media. but the amazing work that you're doing for the community and towards the enrichment of innovation and technology is not so much conveyed. So please feel free to use the digital Pilipinas. Sorry, I'm stuttering. I told you I'm nervous. And many of my friends, I'm not easily made nervous. So we need you guys. We really need your help. And we absolutely cannot do this without you. This month, we're going to be starting a technical working group with the private sector and the government. And I had invited our RootCon brothers and sisters to be part so that you can help shape a digital and secure Pilipinas from 2022 onwards. No? So I need your help. We all need your help. Last but not the least, I would like to thank AJ and also Manong Dax and Ella for welcoming us so warmly in the RootCon community. Now I can proudly say, next slide. If you will have us, we would like to invite you to be part of our Digital Filipinas family, comprised and working with 2 foreign governments and some of the biggest players in the Philippines. We would be so proud to have you here to be part of our family. Next slide. And before I turn it on, I just want to say how super kilig and fun this is. I think that you guys in RootCon are even far cooler than Mr. Anderson, up to recently the only hacker that I knew. Thank you guys so much, and I look forward to meeting all of you in person. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po ang Digital Pilipinas.
Thank you very much for your opening remarks, Ms. Maclang. Our next speaker for today is Mr. Dax Labrador, also known as Semprix. He is the founder of RootCon and the director of professional services for a confidential company. Everyone, please welcome Semprix.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I want to share, please. Teka lang. 1 second. Okay. Oh, there we go. I cannot share my screen. No. There we go.
Sir, I think you have screen sharing privileges already. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna share my screen on a dual monitor. Oh, there we go. Share screen. Am I sharing?
Not yet, sir.
I already shared.
If we have the file, maybe we can run it for Sir Dax. Thank you.
Zoom. Okay. So you can see my screen now, right?
Yes, sir.
Hang on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so much for being a hacker. So there we go. So good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Dax Labrador, also known as Semprix. So I'm the creator and founder of, and also the chaos organizer of RootCon. So RootCon is the largest and longest running hacking conference in the Philippines. As my day job, I'm also a director of professional services at Viking Cloud. So there we go. It's no longer confidential. So welcome to RootCon press lunch. So today we're gonna um, we're gonna look at what the heck is RootCon, where did it all started, what do we do, stuff like that. Okay, so before that, I think there's a delay on the screen. All right. So before that, let me give you a quick story on how the chaos started. So back in the days when I just started hacking, so I never thought of it as a career or a profession. Computers just fascinates me. It was just out of curiosity. So as a geek, I stick myself at the school library most of the time, and read some computer books, programming, networking, all those kind of stuffs. Hell, I even save up my baon just for me to buy some books, as internet was pretty limited back then. Then after reading those books, I would ask my father to bring me to his office, and there I will bid all the things I read online, doing some programming, DOS commands, command line stuffs. And I think the worst part of it was changing all their Windows boot logo, having my face on it. So whenever their colleagues, would boot up the computer, they're gonna see my face on it. So it was a pretty cool hack for a kid. Lucky me, their IT was supportive. I was a kid, I was a little kid that time, and didn't kick me out. So instead, he gave me tips and tricks on all about computers. So my thirst for knowledge just keeps on expanding. So looking back at those moments, I've learned a few things. So first, know what you need to learn. So and second, know what you don't know. So this does not only apply to hacking, but also to our day-to-day lives. Secondly, I learned that in order to gain knowledge, you need to have someone. You need to have somebody or something. This could be a book, a mentor, a professor, or a community like Digital Pilipinas or RootCon, with the same-minded individuals. So learning is a two-way street. You learn by sharing. You learn by doing the things you love. You learn by receiving feedbacks. I've learned most of these stuffs by reading, trying to make things, and doing research, doing my own research. So in my quest for more knowledge, I discovered IRC, so Internet Relay Chat. So the millennials, I don't know if they still know what IRC is, but this is the old time Discord. So I was really fascinated by people, interacting, collaborating, sharing their research. This would become my very first hacking conference. So, sharing, collaborating, it really fascinates me. So I find it really cool. So then on that platform, I've seen people, chatting about, or discussing about bringing their research to this and that conferences. So there's already a conference during that time. So when I look it up, wow, this is freaking awesome. The first conference I saw was DEF CON. That's the largest hacking conference in the world. So when I saw DEF CON, when I searched it, I mean, wow, this is the real life person in person IRC. So having this feeling, what is it like to be in a real conference? Then I came to a realization that knowledge isn't just something about what you learn from books or what you learn from college, what you learn from school. Knowledge is a network of people. So network of things in your surrounding, and you just need to be cognizant as what you want to learn and go look for it. So one day, I was walking down the street and I saw an ad stick on a lamppost about local security conference. So I mean, I said to myself, "This is it. This is what I've been looking for." So I'd be stupid enough to miss this out. So I called them, registered, then I attended the conference. It was good. I was really fascinated by the talks and the speakers. They were all cool and all that kind of stuff. Although looking back right now, um, all those talks were just product pitches. So I thought there is something missing here. There was no collaboration, no interaction between attendees, congoers, stuff like that. There's no even there's even no socializing. So this is not the conference I've expected. This is not the conference I've searched. So I knew something was missing. So I thought of starting a local hacking conference. So years later, my intuition and hunger for knowledge is still there. So here comes the inception of RootCon. So back then, when I started RootCon, I was new in Manila. That was back 2008. I was new from in Manila. I was from Cebu. So I don't have anyone or someone I could share my idea with. So I flew back to Cebu for a couple of days and held the conference there. We were only 8 or 10 back then. I created 3 talks for the entire session. Then the rest was just drinking and socializing. Then comes the second RootCon. Uh, I was surprised. I was shocked. We were already 60. So the venue was a bit crowded, already crowded for us. This is also the time when I met the old timer goon, same-minded individuals. Devnal, I think he's here. He's gonna be leading the panel later on. So he's running the hacker Jeopardy at RootCon, and we have Tikbalang, our most charming goon. So we have a charming goon. If you want to message him, search him up on Twitter. So he was supposed to be on our panel here right now, but however, there was an emergency at work, so he wasn't able to make it. So these people has been with RootCon for almost 15 years now. So making all the chaos happen. So after the speakers, delivered their talks, it was just all drinking, interacting, sharing their awesome research and socializing. This is when I realized this is the missing puzzle. So, and that missing puzzle is the community. So the third RootCon, we had a bit of a fallout. So we were tagged and rumored as a front for a government agency, luring hackers, attending the conference, getting, catching them, investigating them, trying to profile the hackers, tag them. But it didn't stop us. So we didn't just, stop there. So we continued our passion, building the community, helping each other, learn from one another. So RootCon and the hacking community just continues to grow year by year. Pre-pandemic, we've reached around 500 plus con goers. RootCon has been the mediator in building the hacking and infosec community in the Philippines, and we are really proud of it. We are the neutral ground, so any colors you are wearing, black, white, gray, whatever color you're wearing, you're welcome at RootCon. So we gather annually, to share knowledge, collaborate, presenting research, all that kind of stuff, and at the same time, have fun. There. So I'm not sure if we're going to be proud of this, but this is the only conference in the Philippines that serves unlimited beer for free. Unlimited beer for free, 10 a.m. in the morning, and supply just runs out by 12 noon. How awesome is that? So I'd like to share a really quick flashback. So here we go. Did it. Right. Okay. So, RootCon has been really successful in bringing the brightest and well-respected hackers all over the world. So, to name a few, we have Craig Smith. He's the author of the Car Hackers Handbook. So, as you know, as also a very well-respected hacker in the community. So we have Jason Haddock, so a well-respected hacker as well, and the head of security at Ubisoft. We have Jason Street, a very talented hacker, and the author of Dissecting the Hack. So we also have Vladimir Katalov, so a very seasoned hacker. So we love this guy, founder and CEO of Elcomsoft. He's from Russia, and we have Patrick Wardle, former NSA and NASA employee, a very seasoned, Mac OS hacker. He even, you know, he brought his talk here over at RootCon and, released an exploit for Mac OS. So, and the rest of the hackers all over the world who just, who visited RootCon, bring and presented their research, they are very awesome. Learning and mixing fun never gets old and never gets boring, so we can humbly say that RootCon has done a great job building the hacking community in the country. So when I met Amor, I saw the same passion for building the community and helping the country. Well, I said to myself, why not? Let's do this and make this happen. Building a much bigger community and coming up with a much broader collaboration, helping the country and the world to have a better cyberspace to live in. So, welcome to the organized chaos of RootCon. So we hack hard and we even party harder. So I'm just gonna point out some key takeaways. So hacker mindset. So being a hacker is not an overnight thing. So it takes a lot of frustration. So you get frustrated a lot for not letting this thing work, and there is also a lot of satisfaction being a hacker. So once you have achieved your goal, it's very satisfying. So second is be resourceful. So the internet right now is very big, it's very huge. So go find what you need to learn. So be resourceful. Third, don't be a douche. Information security or the hacking community is a really small world, so everyone knows who. So don't be a douche. Try to keep your cool and know what you learn and learn what you know. So in the hacking community, you just can't fake what you know. So you might, but later on you'll just find an expert, sitting right next to you. Then your game is over. So try to learn, try to know what you learn and you don't know. Try to know what you don't know. And lastly, contribute to the hacking community. Unlike before, our resources were very limited, but today you have all the resources. Use them. It's a very satisfying and awesome experience. And just a quick plug: registration for RootCon 15 is still open. You may use the promo code RCXDGPNAS, and it's going to be next week. And there we go. Thank you. Get vaccinated, wear a mask, stay safe, and remember, drink all the booze, hack all the things. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much for your welcome address, Semprix. That was a very inspiring talk. So our next speakers for today are Emanon and Shipcode for the keynote speech. Emanon is a RootCon goon and HR manager for a confidential company, while Shipcode is also a RootCon goon and the practice principal as well for a confidential company. So everyone, please welcome Emanon and Shipcode.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Let me just share my screen. And we should be good to go. Can you see my screen now? Better? Okay. Sir Emanon, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I'm good to go.
All right, so let's start. So welcome to the press launch of RootCon, and we'll be talking about RootCon and the hacking community. My name is Shipcode, and my co-speaker is Emanon. Okay, so who am I? My name is Shipcode or Jetman in RootCon, and I work as a principal security consultant at a confidential company. And I'm a RootCon Goon and CFP review board. Basically, I handle the papers that are submitted in RootCon. So in RootCon, you can't just present if you submit a paper. So it goes with a review process, and I'm one of the guys who reviews the papers and approve the paper submitted or the research submitted. I used to be a former bug bounty hunter and was acknowledged by Facebook, Mozilla, Yahoo, etc. And then for my responsible disclosures in bug bounty programs. So basically, right now, uh, there's a way to hack companies legally, and they have this bug bounty programs. And before I used to participate in such programs. And then I'm also a Metasploit contributor, which is a framework for hacking, of course, and penetration testing. And I got invited, and my research was accepted in some international and hacking conferences like the DEF CON, which is the largest hacking conference in the US and all over the world, for the Packet Hacking Village, the Application Security Village, the Adversary Village, and the Car Hacking Village. And then for also HitCon, RootCon, SendCon, and other conference. I'm also one of the admins for the AdVulcan team. And then we participated last year for the US Air and Space Force Security Challenge. And we placed fourth on the qualifiers. And then we made it to the finals. And we made it to the top 5 out of 8 teams. And then I'll proceed to Sir Jamie. It's his turn.
All right. So, hi, I'm known as Emanon Knows It All. They know me as Emanon. I'm part of RootCon. I'm also a RootCon Goon. My day life is I serve as an HR country manager for a company I could not disclose. And then I am a graduate of clinical psychology in one of the respective universities here in Manila. And then I quitted law school after 2 weeks. I couldn't bear the scenic environment of law school. And then aside from being a RootCon Goon, I'm their resident mouth. So I host RootCon year on year. I'm their resident medic. I don't know, maybe because I know a lot of medical stuff. And then I'm the resident grease monkey. That's why Sir Jetman here, or Sir Shipcode, has gave me the opportunity to co-found CHV, or Car Hacking Village, in the Philippines. And then I'm one of the bringer of laughters. That's a pair. That's me and Shipcode. We're always a package. And then I'm the keeper of the iconic and legendary unicorn chalice, which is this one. Sorry, I hope you guys can see it, but there's a background, so it will remain a mystery. And then, aside from being an HR professional, I'm a private pilot. I've studied being a pilot, but license is expired, so I could not fly anywhere. They cut my wings off. I'm a social engineer and a fraud analyst at the same time. So I am very much loved by telecom companies. If you could notice, it's mostly telecom companies or internet provider of service. And then PH local banks also love me for my attempts of fraud and for my attempts of vision. And then I've done talks about fraud analysis, art of vishing, exploiting contact center services and processes, human behavior as a process in system and process vulnerability. And then last year, I was able to bag the prize for NASDAQ Social Engineering Challenge that was brought in by Rachel Dolbach for the company.
Okay, so now we'll talk about hacking. Of course, we have some people who keeps asking us, is hacking bad or is it good, or what are the differences? So technically speaking, hacking is not a bad thing. It's all about the practice of modifying the features of a system in order to accomplish a goal outside of the creator's original purpose. So take for example, you got a car, and then you, even though your car doesn't have a video or entertainment system, or even you your digital boxes, and if you can do it, you can actually modify your car. That's actually hacking, because that's not the intended purpose. All right. And then it's all about innovation. So if you can discover an exploit or discover something that works out of the normal, so that is hacking, and it's a unique skill. And of course, I would like to give credits to the Frack magazine, who has been teaching a lot of teenage guys, and also hackers, and also you know, boys like me. I'm not from the 80s. I'm from the 90s, but you know, I started reading Frack as well during the my high school days and college. But so I learned a lot. And then from the right picture, that's actually Dark Matter, and you know, he's into wireless hacking, and he's also one of the guys that I currently watch for his live stream, because he has a lot of talks and Twitch. So Sir
Yes.
Jamie,
And we're very cognizant that most of our audiences for today might be not from the tech world or not technical hackers. So hack came from the etymological meaning, etymological word, which is hack, or to push through the core. So from the very beginning during Stone Age, and able to create fire, you need wood, and to crack wood, you need to hack it, to divide it into two. That's why it says reaching the core. Now, it's similar to systems, breaking into systems, making sure that you reach the core. For non-technical hackers, hacking doesn't only appeal to technical or computer skills, wherein I myself is guilty of that notion prior to me joining RootCon. There are non-technical hacks out there. And you yourself, if you love creating shortcuts, making your life easier, you could you could tag yourself as a hacker. So next slide, please.
yep. So for this next slide, these are some of the hacks. All right. I took screenshots of them from myself, and from the first picture, which is you can see an Ubuntu machine wherein I was able to root the machine by using someone's exploit. Typically, it's more of a script kiddie if you don't understand um, what this does. But if you understand this exploit, um, you can call yourself a hacker as long as you also develop some tools. And pretty much like using Metasploit, a lot of guys that I know, that they say that Metasploit is for script kiddies, but they don't know that I've contributed some stuff for Metasploit. And actually, the reason why I use it is because it's for automation and, you know, process improvement. And then from the second picture, wherein you can see Backtrack 5, I took the screenshot back from the days when Backtrack was still the penetration testing OS from offensive security, and then right now it's Kali Linux. From what you can see there, it says, welcome visiting Huawei WiMAX CPE. This was a known hack for Globe back in the days when WiMAX was still very, was kind of a thing. And then it has subscription. There was no SIM, and it relies on the 4G technology. So basically, hackers during our time, this is a known hack. So this is not, I was not the one who discovered this, but basically, there were forums during that time called philhacks.com, symbionize.com, philsat.com, which are already dead. And this was widespread, wherein anyone could, if you're Globe router or WiMAX during that time, the subscription has expired, or you don't have a working internet during that time. So anybody could just, do a MAC cloning by scanning a specific IP address, or you could just, iterate some MAC addresses, and then you could already, have internet connection. Another old known hack, of course, this is not much of a technical hack. but you just need 171 pesos. I learned this from Sir Tix or Boss Tix Tikbalan, who is one of the most charming goon of RootCon from his slide hacking 101. So if you just text got some combo 1360280, blah blah blah, and then you redo the step for additional 1 GB, and then you redo one to extend validity prior expiry. So if you go text go success house to 8080 to check status, you got valid for 30 days. So it's not really much of, it's not just about breaking something. So it has something to do with, saving some money for, your load. Yeah. Hacking in the sense of cyber and information security, it's all about exploiting weaknesses in computer systems or networks for personal gain, or it could be for learning purposes or research. Okay. And always remember, hacking is not a crime. I'm an advocate of this. As long as you disclose what you learned, or you disclose to the company what you discovered, if you got jail, it's not. It's actually the fault. It's actually you must be protected with some laws wherein because you did disclosure. So that's one of our advocacy in RootCon, wherein we should have a law to wherein they protect hackers from disclosing out of good faith. So that's why I believe that hacking is not a crime. And
Yep.
Sir Emanon as well believes in this.
I'd add to that, Jay. One of the questions that we had recently, during Sir Daph's talk, is I forgot who asked the question, but to respond to that, here's your response: hacking is not a crime as long as there's proper disclosure. You follow proper processes on reporting of vulnerability. It's not a crime. Now, for non-tech perspective, for hackers, as long as, again, I keep on emphasizing, if you're following proper processes on reporting of vulnerability or something that you found out, it's not considered a crime. And then always remember, hacking is not a crime. We're the good guys. We're trying to make your cyber environment. I don't know why we keep using the term cyber, but sure. Cyber environment safe. We report these vulnerabilities to make sure also that your information is always secure.
Yes, that's true. And please don't believe on the guys that hacking is not a crime, but it is more fun when it is. So that's not true, okay? Hacking is not a crime. Now, we'll discuss about the types of hackers. Of course, we have the black hat. And black hat hackers are criminals who break into computer networks with malicious intent. They may also release malware that destroys files and holds computer hostage or steal passwords, like, for example, the ransomware and some viruses. And then we have the credit card numbers. Those are actually carders and other personal information. Now, we need to classify types of hackers, but really, the most common thing that you should say is they should be called as black hat instead of hackers, because in a real sense, hacking is not a crime, right? And hacking is a good thing because it's all about innovation. It's all about modifying something out of the normal. So you can see some of the pictures there. 26-year-old hacker sentenced to record 334 years in prison for hacking something. And then I've actually, from the right side, you can see there an old logo by the 4 O'Clock Project. This was in the early 2000s, made by Asian Pride, wherein they defaced a lot of websites to inform security administrators that the security of their website were weak. Now, I could be neutral about them because there was a time wherein Asian Pride actually released their own tool for community sharing. They did the project Anino Firewall, which is dead right now. It's a packet filter based on OpenBSD, and they actually presented it before in Manila Call, not RootCon, but yeah. So much for that. I would say that they are between a gray hat because there was a time wherein they defaced something for awareness, but I'm not saying that's a that's a good thing. Of course, that's a bad thing. Defacing a website is a bad thing. But then there was a time when they contributed something, and the Project Anino firewall, where you can just run this firewall on a Pentium 3 computer, and that's all good. And my apologies for the roosters in the background. Sometimes they just act up. Some they've already been appearing in DEF CON, wherein I was a speaker, and someone said that next topic, hacking roosters. Anyways, the gray hat. This is something between the white hat and the black hat. It's a computer. They are a computer hacker or computer security expert who may sometimes violate laws. Take for example defacing, and at the same time doing typical ethical standards, but does not have the malicious intent typical of a black hat hacker. So take for example, you have former defacers who, you know, who became bug bounty hunters, or the bug bounty hunters who fully disclose their vulnerability without even asking permission, or you know, disclosing something in a conference without asking permission to disclose the vulnerability. So there were instances like that, and they're called gray hat.
Yep. And in addition to that, as for gray hat, for those who couldn't picture what a gray hat is, uh, imagine you're watching a film with an arms dealer who's selling on both sides. So gray hat would be an arms dealer selling on both sides, but with a little bit of conscience. So that's what a gray hat is.
Thank you for the better elaboration, Sir Tammy. Sir Amanan, that's better. All right. Next up, we've got the white hat. You can see the pictures there. You've got Sir Balang, and then you have Mintonet, my mentor for car hacking, and then Nishan Sharma from Security Tube or Pantaster Academy. He was a speaker as well 2 years ago in RootCon. And then you have Orange Chai, who actually is a known bug bounty hunter, and he was the one responsible for the proxy logon vulnerability in Microsoft and the Outlook, you know, fiasco. He also presented that in DEF CON. So these guys, what do they have in common? They are an ethical computer hacker, and they have the hacker mindset. They are computer security experts, and they specialize in penetration testing and other testing methodologies that ensure the security of an organization's infosec system or information system. All right. So, Sir Jamie, do you like to add something about the pictures that you can see right now?
Sure. For companies out here, I know we're talking about the community and how hackers can serve the community or businesses in the Philippines as part of the economy, right? So white hat hackers play a huge role in the economy of each country. So them testing and making sure that your information is always secure, like what Ms. Amor has been sharing, API as being part of business processes or systems. That's where the white hat hacker comes in. They play a very huge role making sure that all the users or consumers of these businesses or services, their information are kept in a box that is very much secure, making sure that they do not encounter any of the two other colors, right? So pretty much that's it for one.
Right. So we're gonna move fast for this because
Yeah.
this is the hacker culture. The two pictures that you can see here are from DEF CON. You've got the DEF CON and then the social engineer village, which is part of DEF CON, and then from the last side of the picture, you can see the lockpicking village of RootCon.
So the hacker culture in the Philippines, it's pretty much growing, like what Sir Semprix has shared with you guys with the history of RootCon. I think what's left for us to say is come pay us a visit.
Yeah, sure. That's good. And then, of course, the hacker culture. We have these are some of the known hacker cultures. We have the Nordcore music genre, but this doesn't mean that we don't listen to
Regular
pop
music.
songs, rock, even punk, I myself grew up for My Chemical Romance days, but I still listen to rap songs and nerdcore and hip hop. So of course you have the hacker mindset, the culture and gender diversity. Maybe Sir Ramanan could actually
Of
try
course,
to.
for the hacker mindset, as mentioned by Sir Semprix in his presentation a minute ago, hacker mindset is a must. You cannot be a hacker overnight if you don't have that hacker mindset wherein you wanted to build, of course, break things and build things. Then I think you're in the wrong channel right now. So hacker mindset is a must. And then culture and gender diversity. We're in the 21st century, and gender diversity most definitely, culture most definitely. When it comes to this, we don't see any color, race, or non-sectarian. That's what the hacker culture is all about. We only speak one language, and that's innovation.
Right, and then we have hacker games like CTFs, Hacker Jeopardy, drinking games. Of course, we promote Badge Life, and the Badge Life is like if you are in a real hacker conference, um, you get to see badges. It could be acrylic or badges wherein you can solve puzzles about it. Now, part of this Badge Life, you've got electronic badges where you can play with, and then you can interact with other attendees from the conference. RootCon is actually the first Asian hacking conference that have electronic badges. So that's first in Asia. We were the first one, based on my research, we were the first one who implemented electronic badges in Asia. But it has been happening in other parts of the continent, but in Asia, RootCon did it first. And then, of course, for researchers, they do speaking engagements. And then for bug bounty hunters, they do bug hunting. And then exploit development and writing some hacks. And then, of course, attending hacker summer cons like DEF CON, B-Sides Vegas, and Black Hat. And then, of course, attending other hacker cons all over the world. There are a lot of hacker conferences all over the world. Even Myanmar has a hacker conference. Even in one of the biggest hacking conference in Asia is not RootCon. We've got Hack the Box, that's in Singapore, and then we've got but started in Malaysia, and then we've got NalCon in India. And I would say NalCon is the biggest hacker conference in India, in all over Asia, and in India as well. And it's good if you try to attend other conferences as well. Okay, not just the local scene, because you learn a lot from attending HackerCons. Right. So here are some of the known hacker groups or communities. I'm not gonna, just gonna flash it. Then we'll move on to the next slide. From the right side, you can see the known hacker groups in the Philippines.
Yeah, for those that we weren't able to listen there, please forgive us. We've been trying to remember everyone. But again, thank you for your contribution in the community.
Yeah, sure. And then these are some of the achievements that our Pinoy hackers did. They are presented in the international scene. In 2021, this year in DEFCON 29, Hack Street Boys, which is a Filipino CTF team, and for me, they are one of the best CTF team here in the Philippines. And some of the guys in the Hack Street Boys are actually members of Ponde Manila, which is the official CTF organizer for RootCon right now. And they actually won third place in Red Team Village CTF for DEFCON 29. So this is not something that is just easy to join or get third place. This is really hard.
Yep, it's not just e-gaming that we're representing the Philippines for. We're also representing it in the hacker community internationally.
Sure. Right? Yeah. And then in 2016, for DEFCON 24, Christopher Jan Belvis, or CJ, and sorry, Sir Mon, I forgot your letter D. It's Raymond Nunez. They participated in the Packet Hacking Village CTF, or Capture the Flag, and won the Philippines' first and only black badge at DEFCON 24. So when you say black badge, you are free for life in DEFCON, and you get to have the bragging rights of of winning a black badge in DEFCON, which is the largest hacking conference all over the world.
Yes, for non-tech people out there, Black Badge is an equivalent of an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, and we are proud to say that Sir Raymond Nunez is actually part of RootCon. He's one of the goons of RootCon.
Right?
All right. And then for the team at Vulcan, which I am a member with, I'm currently one of the admins in the Hackathon finals and we play 6 out of the 8 teams for the finals. But for the qualifiers, we place 4th out of more than 500 plus teams. So yeah, this is from the DEFCON 28 Aerospace Village. There are actually 2 Filipinos in this team. One of them is Amir, who is also from Hack Street Boys. This is the this was organized by the U.S. Department of Defense and also the U.S. Air and Space Force. All right, and then also last year, DEFCON 28, the guys from the Hack Street Boys, led by their team captain Mon Leclican, aka Hightail, who is one of the members of Pond de Manila and Hack Street Boys. So they placed 5th out of 354 teams on the DEFCON OpenSOC qualifiers. So yeah, some good things happening. And then of course, our fellow Filipinos, also represented as security researchers and presented their security research and topics to some of the most awesome hacking conference or information security conferences. One of that is actually Black Hat USA back in 2007. We've got Paul Sabanal and Mark Vincent Yason. And then, guys, this is just a snippet. So if you scroll down under Pinoy Sec Represents from GitHub, which is under the RootCon Labs repository, you can see a lot of Filipinos representing the hacking community internationally. Take, for example, Renson Cruz, who is into Blue Team Village. And then we've got the first full-blooded Filipino from DEFCON 17, Mark Ryan Talabis, who spoke in DEFCON, which is the largest hacking conference. And then so on and so forth. So in bug bounty hunting scene, we have a lot of famous bug bounty hunters. One of them is Roy Castillo, wherein he reported a bug in Facebook and exposed primary Facebook email addresses. This was worth $4,500 US. And then we also have Jason Sabate from Invalid Web Security and also a security consultant and a penetration tester. He was one of the guys who reported vulnerabilities in Ashley Madison website or ashleymadison.com. And in fact, he was in a documentary in Netflix. So there was one Filipino in a documentary for Netflix about the Ashley Madison hack. All right, Sir Jamie, it's your turn.
All right, sorry. We're at the 1 minute mark for our timeline for this talk, so I'm going to brisk right through it. Sir Semprix has already brushed through it about our RootCon culture. One word, it's an organized chaos. For you to find out, register, come into the conference. We'd love to see you there. We'd love for you to join us in our organized chaos. Let's move on to the next slide. Just a snippet and just a warning, a general warning. We do play the best games ever in RootCon. We've got the most perilous game, which is Capture the Flag. If you've got the heart, if you're brave enough, go for it. If you're techie enough, go for it. We'd love to see you there. And then we also have Hacker Jeopardy. It's the death-defying game. If you like whiskey and if you like drinking, you like technology, you like trivia games, this is the game for you. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Of course, we do have workshops, and we also have the Car Hacking Village. We have Car Hacking Village, Lockpicking Village, Hardware Hacking Village, and many more to come. With the villages, we help each other promote individual communities that are specific for independent or specific technologies themselves or specific hacks. Next slide, please. And the favorite of my twin brother's ship code, which is Badge Life. If you could, hang them all around your neck, we'd love that. We'd love to see you wear them. We'd love to see you play and tinker with those badges, make them work. Show us your technological prowess by hacking the badges. So again, you'd find this in RootCon. We're the first in Asia to actually have an electronic badge. So super good. Then car hacking village. I think Shipcode should touch on this as he is the founder. Could you quickly provide us with an overview of what car hacking village is?
Oh yeah, so the CHV is actually blessed by the official CHV and DEF CON. We're using their official logo, and in fact, I'm one of the. You can see that from the website from the Car Hacking Village that we are actually acknowledged in the official Car Hacking Village. So our main objective is to promote security awareness about hacking cars, and also talk about vehicle security and vehicle safety.
Yep.
Right.
If you could donate a car, would love that. If you could donate parts, scraps, junk from different automobiles, we'll take it in. We're happy to tinker with it, and we'll even acknowledge you in our research.
Yep, and also we've been contributing to Metasploit about our recent discoveries and car hacking, and also we also give trainings about car hacking and RootCon.
So if Ms. Amor, if you're listening, if Digital Filipinas could arrange a Tesla for us, would love that.
Yep. So fun fact, we brought the author of the Car Hackers Handbook and RootCon, and Sir Jamie, clarification.
Just to assure you guys, we did not abduct Craig Smith. He was there voluntarily.
Yeah, and he was wearing our Barong Tagalog.
Yep. Again, like everybody's in RootCon says, drink all the booze, hack all the things.
Thank you very much, Emanon and Shipcode, for giving us a lowdown on the history of hacking and RootCon, as well as providing us clarity and an introduction to its world. We are happy and proud to know what the Filipino hacking community has been doing behind the scenes all these years. Our next segment is the panel discussion, where our speakers will be discussing the important role that hackers played in creating a cybersecure Pilipinas. I would like to introduce our panelists. First is Mr. AJ Dumanhug, the co-founder and Chief Information Security Officer at Secuna, a cybersecurity company in the Philippines. Part of his role is helping organizations in protecting their applications by performing vulnerability assessments and penetration tests. He was a former part-time cybersecurity instructor at the University of the Philippines System Information Technology Foundation and at the Continuing Professional Development Department of Adamson University. Currently, he is taking up his professional science master's in cybersecurity. Our second panelist is Mr. Mark Fragoso, the Chief Information Security Officer of MYNT, Globe Fintech Innovations Incorporated, the holding company of the largest and top e-wallet in the Philippines, GCash. In this role, he oversees all information and cybersecurity and data privacy groups within the company and its subsidiaries. Prior to joining MYNT, Mr. Fragoso has been with Citigroup for 8 years and assumed local, regional, and global information security roles, overseeing enterprise infrastructure operations and technology business units. Mr. Fragoso also holds and maintains different security and IT certifications, such as Certified Information Systems Security Professional, Certified Information Security Manager, Certified Ethical Hacker, COBIT, ITIL, CompTIA Security Plus and Linux Plus, and Microsoft. Our third panelist is Mr. Jelaine Manrique, the Chief Information Officer, Partner, and Head of Tech Consulting and Cybersecurity at KPMG Philippines. Mr. Manrique has more than 14 years of extensive professional experience in the field of IT and in the field of ID audit, SOC or attestation, cybersecurity, data privacy, ERP implementation, robotics process automation, data and analytics, and IT project management. He is a certified information systems auditor and has been certified in risk and information systems control. Our fourth panelist is Shipcode, again, RootCon Goon and practice principal for a confidential company. Our fifth panelist is Oxmon, RootCon Goon and CTO and Director for Digital Forensics and Incident Response for a confidential company. And the sixth and last panelist, but certainly not the last, is Ms. Amor Maclang. The panel discussion will be moderated by Devnal, RootCon Goon, and FVP for a confidential company. Before we begin, I would like to request Mr. Dumanhug, Mr. Fragoso, Mr. Manrique, Ms. Maclang, Shipcode, Oxmon, and Devnal to kindly turn on your videos for the panel discussion. Thank you very much. I would like to now open the floor for the panel discussion and Q&A to be moderated by Devnal from RootCon.
Thank you very much, Donna. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an interesting panel discussion with some of the best homegrown security experts in the country and the co-founder of Digital Pilipinas and a special guest Rooster, care of Shipcode. Some of the panelists were already and thoroughly introduced earlier, so let's start off with additional introductions of myself and my fellow hacker Goon Docmon. You can call me Devnal, and I'll be your moderator for this panel. I've been a CISO, or Chief Information Security Officer, for 16 years in a local bank and was a freelance security penetration tester prior to that for 5 years in 2000. So if you're doing the mental math right now, that's 21 years. Yes. Ganyan po katanda sa industry. All right. Docmon, kindly introduce yourself briefly with your credentials for the appreciation of our viewers.
Yeah, I'm Mon, and I've done security consulting for roughly a little lesser than Devnal's experience. That lot of government consulting, and currently we're doing financial, mainly security consulting for financial services industry. So a lot of banks, fintechs, and some of them deals with penetration testing on how to break into a bank, how to grab credentials, how to transfer funds out of the others' account, and hopefully be able to figure them all out, and of course escalate it to the organization for them to be able to fix it. On another side, we do digital forensics and incident response. If there's ever a breach, we investigate on the technical side, end to end. What happened? Was it a phishing? Was it a internal employee that did something bad? Okay, and we try to build up the story and just factual story, and then submit it to the organization for their evaluation. So yeah, that's me.
All right. Thank you, Docmon. Additional trivia for Docmon. Aside from being the first Filipino to get the black badge bragging rights from DEF CON, I think he is also the record holder in the Philippines for the most number of difficult security certifications from SANS. So, ilan na ba yung certifications mo, Doc? Hindi na maalala.
Total mga 20, mga 15 done is from SANS. So.
Those 20. And guys, just to give you a background on yung sa SANS.org certifications, they are the most or among the most difficult certifications to achieve. So yan yung isa sa mga trivia for Docmon. So there you have it. Welcome panelists. May request dito na daw muna tayo. Photo shoot before we start the panel. So, how do we do this, F? Or Donna?
All right, everyone. Ready, everyone? Right. 1, 2, 3. One more, please. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone.
Nice. Thank you, guys. Okay, our topic for this panel is about the role of Filipino hackers in creating a secure digital Philippines. First things first, let's define our context of hackers in this discussion. But although this was discussed in detail earlier by Shipcode and Emanon, I just want to add that by hackers, we mean all forms of hackers from different hat colors and profession, above and underground, but most importantly, those that contribute positively to the growth of a society in one form or another. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, the bad ones, we just simply call them cyber criminals because they just hack for profit. All right. Okay, my first question is the obvious one, based on our theme, and this is addressed to all our panelists. What do you think is the single most important role that we hackers need to play in our nation to help secure our Philippine cyberspace? Let's start off with AJ.
Oh yeah. Well, good morning, everyone. So it's still morning, I guess. Yeah. The question is the single most important role. Is that right, Sir Dan?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
All right. So as we all know, for me, most people define hacker as someone who engages for or with relation to malicious actions with computers. However, the vast majority of hackers I've met um, use their intelligence to create a solution or to leverage their skill set to do something useful or meaningful, such as helping organizations in making their products secure and safe for their customers.
All right, thank you, AJ. Sir Jalaine.
Yes, hi. So, well, I always see hackers as partners. They are partners mainly for business growth, partners for information protection, and regardless of the colors, I feel that there's always value that they bring. In every business, maybe in private and also in public sector. So for me, the single most important rule is for us to consider hackers as partners for our business.
All right.
Maybe just to mention,
Yeah.
I'm not a hacker myself. Just a caveat to everyone, right? So I work with hackers. I do have people within the team. So I just feel privileged to be among these panelists. So thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Jalaine. Thank you. Okay, MJ, want to share your thoughts on this?
Sure. Hope my audio is clear.
Yep, loud and clear.
It's gonna be really short, but I'd like to take this opportunity as well because Jelaine mentioned earlier that he's not a hacker. But for me, the one of the trigger point of me being a hacker before, and I think it's still now, is because of DevNull. I guess as part of my previous roles before. So thank you, DevNull. Thank you. But it's
No
gonna be really
problem.
short, no? Um, and I think it's the same as what you guys are saying. I think it's really putting those skills to good use. I mean, right? I mean, contribute. Use those skills for good use. I think that's a very short and crisp answer there.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. It's a sweet and short answer. MJ was part of my security team way back, many years ago when he was still in the early stages of his hacking career. All right, let's go with ship code.
I've already discussed about it, sir. Was done.
All right. All right, no problem. Oo nga pala. Sige. Docmon.
Okay, yeah. Just caveat din. They call me Docman because inaasar nila ako. I'm still taking my PhD. Apparently, it's jinx yata. Kaya hindi ako makagraduate. Anyway, so hackers, it's want to figure out vulnerabilities and exposure, okay, before anyone else does. And of course, this is an ecosystem wherein you ask someone to find out what's wrong or what is exposed in your application or your system, and hopefully you're able to understand what it does. Problem with a lot of technical hackers is they're not able to relate those risks properly, and therefore the risk treatment is not appropriate. So the moment we're able to do that, everything would increase, basically, security postures of organizations we are protecting. Okay, and as mentioned, yeah, if we don't do that, someone else would figure it out and they're gonna exploit it for their personal gains, and that's gonna be bad for everyone. So yeah, that's my take.
Thank you, Docmon. So it's a really a common theme, I I think the really most important role that we hackers need to play in our nation is to really contribute as much as we can to the community in securing cyberspace. Last but not the least, Ms. Amor, with cybersecurity as one of your 12-point agenda, number 7 actually, I remember, in creating digital Pilipinas, what are your expectations from hackers?
Sir, hi, magandang hapon. Before we start, can I just comment a little bit on what you asked earlier?
Oh, sure.
I shared this with Manong Semprix earlier. My first ever experience, because I'm also a risk issues and crisis manager by training. I remember I was advising a tech company, and who said, you know, we got a call from a hacker and said that these are our vulnerabilities 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you know what was their default? Their default was to call their legal counsel and sue the hacker. And I was like, bakit ganon,
Adversarial
right?
ka agad, ano?
Diba? Sabi ko, bakit ganon? If a doctor told you na meron kang sakit, okay, or may kailangan kang gamutin, are you gonna sue the doctor? So that really got me started and thinking like there is something wrong with how we define it. No, a lot of it is primarily reputational in nature, and that's why I felt it was important to provide a platform where people really got to hear about your great stories and what you guys are doing for the country. Guys, technology is neither or could either be good or bad, no? So just because you hear the word hacker, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, no? So we have to suspend those judgments and we need to continuously dialogue. Kita mo, GCash lead, KPMG technical lead, lahat kinikilig to be here today, right? And I hope that this will be the first of many projects and interactions that we can have with you. Now, going back quickly, sir, to the question, what do we need? We need you. We're here to actually ask for your support. First and foremost, we need to grow more certified ethical hackers in the country through education. So I'm going to discuss that moving forward with the community, how we can make the education as accessible to many people as possible. Dati people think that technology in the grassroots is all about BPOs, etc. But imagine if we had an entire community of certified ethical hackers who can stay wherever they are in the world and still make dollars or euros, no? 'Di ba? Reverse talaga. Hindi na natin kailangang mag-ibang bansa para kumita at para makilala ang mga Pilipino. Second, I share this with the organizing committee. Manong Semprix, we're going to support the research, especially the submitted papers, because those are super important and super critical to the development of innovation in the country. I think it was Doc Mon that said that, no, na parang this is not about hacking, this is about the creation of an innovative space, which is what Digital Pilipinas is all about, no? And last but not the least, yun ang kailangan ko ng tulong, yung API economy, right? People are thinking that to go into e-commerce, I just have to go into the foreign platforms. No, but I need your help to enable businesses to be comfortable with the technology and feel secure about it. And who better to enlist the help than the community? So sana po this could be the first of our many years of collaborating together. Thank you, Sir Devnal. Grabe mga rockstar kasama natin dito in hacking.
Thank you, Ms. Amor. We'll do our best as a community to contribute and as a partner with you. All right.
Sorry, sir. And last,
okay,
kailangan nating ma-identify ano yung kailangan nyo legislative-wise in order to create a more cyber-secure Philippines. Kasi you guys are on the ground, so you know. So we will funnel this not just with the business community, but also with legislators. So kailangan po namin yon. Thank you.
That will be greatly appreciated, Ms. Amor. All right. My second question, I'd like to direct to AJ and Shipcode. There's so much money to be made if you have the talent for developing sneaky malware, di ba? That's how the NSO Group of Israel does it with their Pegasus spyware tool that both governments and private sectors can buy for millions of dollars. Actually, it's rumored na yung UAE bought it for $55 million. It's a perennial tug of war game between national security and data privacy or citizen privacy. And so what's your take on this moral debate if the Philippine government were to use such a spyware tool for national security? Let's start with you, AJ.
I guess I would pass it to Sir Shipcode first. Since I don't want to comment with relation to the government. Yeah.
Bakit ako?
Are you not allowed ba? All right. Oh, Shipcode.
For that, can the government handle that one? I mean,
Let's assume that they can handle it. They can
let's
definitely
assume
afford it, di ba? They can definitely afford it.
Well, if they
Kalahating
can,
milyong laptop nga afford nila, so definitely.
if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure some hackers would accept it. I would be neutral for that because what if magagamit natin, di ba, to protect, and because may mga nag-leak kasi in the previous years about even and in fact yung nag-leak nun is some of the documents from our government from the threat intel side. In fact, my signature pa ni Duterte. I've seen that from the threat intel feed wherein nanakaw ng mga Chinese na hackers yung certain document na yon. This was a known document, so this is not secret anymore. The guy who gave me that info was a threat intelligence from Hong Kong. Kasi during that time I was speaking in DragonCon HK, and he gave me the threat feed about that. So I guess other countries are doing it, and we need to protect our assets from the government. But I will be neutral for that. I wouldn't say that I would like to join, and I would say that I don't want to join. So kasi we don't know what if may makita kang something na parang inaapi tayo, or something like that. So that's why
I agree with Sir Shipcode. Yeah.
Yeah, they use this code or malware kasi with persons of interest, for example, ng government. Okay sana kung mga drug lords yan or but sometimes they can be kasi it's just a tool lang naman talaga and it's up to the user talaga how he will use the tool. So Doc Mon, in place of AJ, do you have any inputs regarding this?
Yeah, but
are you free? Are you free to
a
talk?
degree? To a degree, it's a weapon. It's a tool, just like a gun. Diba? It's how you use it. There are legitimate use for it. Counterterrorism, monitoring of persons of interest. If ever we do have that technology, which I don't know if we do have as of the moment, there should be stringent control on where to use it and how to use it. Okay, and there's going to be a committee, not just one person deciding on who to install it and who to monitor, right? And it's going to be audited. It's going to be checked, counter checked, triple checked, because we don't want an incident wherein because it's a political enemy, they're going to monitor it and use some personal information against that person to basically silence them. So yeah, that's my take. It's how you use the technology that's concerning.
All right, thank you, Doc. Oh, it's a very, very sensitive topic actually. But it's being done by other countries, and it's very useful actually. But yun nga, sabi nga ni Doc Mon, there must be an auditing process regarding it, monitoring process kung paano siya ginagamit. Okay. My next question, ito AJ, masasagot mo na to. Let's talk about bug bounty hunting in the Philippines. So I have this simple question, and this is it. Where are the bounties? So AJ,
What do you mean, Sir Dan, about where are the bounties? Or
Bounties no
yeah.
ano like Philippine government, Philippine corporations online, yung may mga online presence. Nag-offer ba sila ng bug bounties similar to
Okay.
Microsoft, Google,
Okay.
and ganun?
Yeah, for that one, there are a lot of companies right now who are offering bounties to cybersecurity professionals who reported valid security vulnerability. And actually, right now, that's the best approach to maintain and be aware about the loopholes in your applications that you being offered those products to your consumers. So I really like the idea of having this kind of security program that will allow those professionals to report their findings to those organizations. And yeah, and the objective nga lang naman talaga is to secure and make sure na the data of the data subjects or their users are safe and secure. Yeah.
Or so do the local companies actively advertise this bug bounty program?
There are some companies, Sir Dev, na nag-offer ng bug bounties right now. Most of them are in health tech and fintech because those industries holds sensitive personal information or what we call SPI in data privacy. So they really care and prioritize the data of their users. So they offer those bug bounty programs to protect themselves, their company, and their users.
Oh, okay, noted.
Chief
Yes,
DevNows.
yes, jump in.
Quickly
Yeah.
lang, sir. I heard from Sir AJ, no, yung sa health tech and fintech. Maybe I'll throw this to the RootCon community, Manong Semprix. We have a community called the InsurTech and Health Tech Association of the Philippines. Let's work together because we need that. Many of the hospitals and traditional institutions are very reluctant. Baka it's one of those things we can pipeline, sir. And then let's talk about what we can do to help make the forthcoming elections more secure. No? So yun lang. Patikim. Salamat.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Amor. Okay. Let's go a little higher on the questions on the sa management level naman tayo. How do you think Philippine companies today should measure the effectiveness of their security controls amidst the explosion of the work from home mobile workforce and ransomware threats in the new norm as examples? Mark, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, for
measurement of the effectiveness of the security controls.
Yeah, it's I think it again, it all boils down to the balance scorecard of the organization, how you contribute, right? If you're, like for me, like in our organization, so we have like a high level business objectives, and it all boils down to the balance scorecard. So it has four pillars, right? Financial, customer operations, and learning and growth. And so how do you contribute into that as part of your cybersecurity goals and objectives then? So how do you connect to that higher business objective goals? And that's pretty how we measure the effectiveness of our cybersecurity. So one, for example, is how do we contribute to financial protection? Like, making sure that we're not in the news, making sure that we don't have like a major cyber incident that will incur any loss, right? For operations, how do we make sure that we promote process efficiencies, right? Not causing too much friction in enabling the business units. The other one on people, right? So we also, and it's really very timely now. So how do you keep people engaged? How do you make sure that they're also upskilled, specifically with all of these new technologies? And for customer, and this is something that's also kind of like new to us, because traditionally we kind of like look after ourselves as an organization, but now we kind of like extend our protection. How do we protect our customers as well? So in essence, we're also protecting our brand and reputation. So basically, like for example, just a classic example of that, if we see like one of our customers, say credit card information is leaked out there, we want to make sure that we monitor that, we inform that customer, we're going to disable your card, we're going to issue you a new card. That's just a plain example of that. So these are some of the metrics that I see. That's the metrics of success, if you will. How do you connect back to the overall business objectives?
But Mark, is that a proprietary pillars that you came up within Globe
No.
or
It's
Gcash? No.
no. It's really not. It's more of like, I think it's the BSC, the balance scorecard is always there. But how do you make that connection? So how do you make?
Oh, I
Because
see.
it's really this is one of the things that we also need to improve as cybersecurity professionals, right? We're in we need to just not talk the language of technology, being the techie in the room, but also speak the language of business, if you will, right? Because that's everyone's. I mean, that is the language that the senior management and the board understand. So we probably
Correct.
wanna have breach that gap.
Correct. So your approach is the holistic approach, the entire business as a whole, considering all the security risks, the productivity, profitability of the company. Right?
Yes, but it's really that big picture, no? But I mean, when you look at it on the ground level, that's the micro speed where you're implementing different things to contribute to that. Medyo madugo yun. I mean, we all of us know that, diba? So this it's all of these different things that we need to implement and to embed in the organization to overall contribute into that 4 pillars of baseline balance scorecard. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mark. I'd like to direct the 5th question to Jelaine. This is on a related note. Let's talk about security standards for a moment. Specifically, security posture standards. How should our government or private corporations measure their security posture using an industry accepted fail-pass scoring system, if that even exists?
Yeah, okay. So I think it shouldn't be too different to what the private is, doing. I think Mark did mention a good example in terms of quantitative measure, right? So definitely government can establish, some sort of measure as well, similar to balance scorecard. But what I'd like to highlight is it's not just about quantitative measure, but qualitative measure. And what I mean by qualitative measure is how do you actually create a culture, may it be in private sector, even in the government, wherein everyone is conscious about security. And I think that's the most important because you can only be as strong as your weakest link. And it's not about the technology in most cases. And in my area, I may not be in the hacking, space. We do hacking because I do have the technical team with me, but I'm more into the government's transformation and process. And what we always say is that technology is like a component of it, but it has to complement with, having the right culture, having the process and governance, and that adds to the posture, right? And for me, for the government, there are a lot of ways to measure it, similar to what the private is doing. But I think one important thing that they need to do is how to create that culture across all the agencies of the government, if that makes sense, Devno.
All right. Thank you, Jelaine. I'd like to, naman, get some insight from a security pen tester standpoint or service provider. Doc Mon? Security posture rating. How do you think they should be measured by?
There are a lot of standards that you could basically map your organization against with. So there is, of course, the NIST, there's the ISO 27001. But my experience with that is it's too broad, and a lot of companies are having a hard time checking their controls and policies and procedures with against those standards. So what we've experienced that has been effective in the past was the CIS, critical security control. So they have a version 8 right now, and it's I would say it's a bit more manageable than the ISO and the NIST, and it's basically a self-assessment, so you could actually do it on your own. And there is actually documentation that they could provide as long as you register to their website, and you should be able to map out your current controls, policies, and procedures if it does match, or you have corresponding risk treatment per per item there. And they even have a spreadsheet wherein you could input on where you are on a specific control. They have policies, procedures, they
So
have
may
technical
scoring
controls.
system sila, sorry.
And at the end of it, per control, you have a score, and then they have an average of it. So you could now grade your organization against the CIS critical security controls. So that's I think that's the more manageable way to basically measure your maturity of your organization.
See, Deb, no, just really to add on to that as well. So I think we can measure, because when you say security posture, it's like answering the question, how secure are we? But there's another flip side to that, which is how compliant are we with all of these like frameworks, regulatory requirements, standards, right? So I think one way to also do this is when you look at your organization, what is it that is really important to you as your asset? Like what are your systems, your applications, your operations, your third parties, and for all of those key assets or very important domains, if you will, you probably want to just say what are the risks of those assets, which you want to measure. Now, the critical aspect there is what is your target? Like for example, if you want to measure how, yeah, per objective, you will define your KPIs or KRIs, but then what is the target? Like up to how many vulnerabilities are we still confident that we're good? Parang ganon. So you probably want to just put that as part of your KPIs, KRIs, and determine what are your KRIs. And hopefully there are a lot of like risk assessment that are put into this in terms of targets. And then you will come up with different like RAG rating, if you will, red, amber, and green. And then, you can make it quantitative if you want, right? I mean, and from there, you can then measure how secure are we versus how compliant are we. Minsan kasi magkaiba yung tono ng dalawa na yan. You can say that you're very compliant, but you're not really secure. So,
correct. Yeah. That's a challenge actually for CISOs nowadays. When they're asked by the board, how secure are we really? Can we really sleep soundly at night with your report that you just gave? So, yun. Okay. Donald, how many minutes do I have left for the panel?
Hello, sir.
Sir, we can have a closing for everyone.
Sige. Okay, I'll send my wrap-up question. This pandemic has created a great tectonic shift in the global economy and has forced corporations and governments to really scramble for survival and just stay afloat. The same huge shift also happened in the global security landscape, where the attack surface of cyber criminals just expanded by many folds. By taking advantage of the explosion of work from home workers and understaffed IT and security teams. As your final thoughts for our viewers, if the Philippines were to survive the cybersecurity threats, what would be the first thing that we should prioritize as a country? Please try to keep your answers in. Yeah.
I think I can also give my input on
All right,
that.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so actually, I'm just gonna a more correction. I'm still not Manong. I'm just 30 years old. Just kidding. So, anyways, I'm just gonna circle back regarding bug bounty, and I think security in general. So, I think what we can start, like this is in connection with the question of DevNal as well. So, I think we need to start at the beginning. So, there are a lot of governments or private sectors that can just try to gauge their security and tell it to themselves that we're good, but that's not the case. we need to start at the beginning, as what Amor mentioned and as what Jay mentioned during his talk, and what other panelists mentioned regarding culture. I think we need to accept, or we need to have at least guidelines of I'm really up to for the full disclosure. So right now, the Philippines doesn't have full disclosure, as what Amor mentioned, as what Amor Jade. You're gonna go to jail, trying to break something here in the Philippines. So all hackers, all talented security researchers are trying to, keep they're on their shell. They're not gonna go out because they're scared. So I think the very first to protect this country, protect the private sectors, is to have at least a guidelines on full disclosure. And I think together with Digital Pilipinas and RootCon, I think we can talk that one out and bring it over and become a law or something. So first things first, full disclosure. So you cannot just measure your stuffs by yourself. You can hire third party and stuff, but it's still different that the people doing it, the hackers doing it, came from passion of researching and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I think full disclosure is the first one.
Devnal, if I can go next.
Go ahead,
I
Jolene.
feel I feel that it is quite essential that we address the skill gap when it comes to cybersecurity, because there's zero unemployment when it comes to cyber professionals, and it's not just locally but globally. So I feel that there is a need for us to work with the government. Maybe government can collaborate with the private sectors to increase the number of cybersecurity professionals. I feel that that is quite important. Even the government is having problem, right? Government cannot compete with private sectors when it comes to cybersecurity salaries, right? So how will they be able to address what they need to do to protect the nation, right? So there has to be some collaboration with the private sectors, maybe somehow create a model how to be able to utilize private security professionals for some of the government projects, and how do we then work with the academe to to educate as many cyber professionals in the country. So I feel that's quite essential to to go to the direction and to achieve that goal that we want.
Thank you, Jolene. Skill
Sir
gap.
Davnal?
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to add something lang din with this one on how to help the government in prioritizing on the survival mode about
Yes.
the inevitable cybersecurity threats, no? So for me, another important thing then is na kailangan i-prioritize ng government right now is by looking for the right person with the right mindset and skill set to lead the cybersecurity in our government to handle those projects and activities. I really like the idea mentioned by Sir Dax, by Sir Jalaine about the partnership and collaboration with the private sector, the full disclosure thing, because there are good guys in the cybersecurity environment right now. And but before we can proceed with that, we need a certain person with the right mindset and I mean a security guy handling the cybersecurity department or agency of our government para aware siya kung ano yung dapat and ano yung kailangan gawin ng government natin to make sure na magsusurvive tayo sa following or future or parating na mga inevitable cybersecurity threats and attacks.
Alright. Thank you, AJ. Are you open to that position? in
No.
government? All right. Let's hear from Mark.
Sure. So I guess I think these are very good things now, from very good inputs from everyone. Combating cyber crimes is really everyone has a role to play. Is because our adversaries are basically a network of people or entities, and to combat them, we also need to be networked ourselves, right? So I think na-mention na to ni Amor, Amor mentioned this in a while ago. I think, and you guys as well as part of my co-panelists here, really making more of us, more of these people, like upskill, making more hackers, if you will, that are able to you know put their skills up to good use. Um, the other one on the government side is I think I think we I think we have some best regulations out there. I mean, best legislations out there, and I think we can probably just put more enforcement onto those. Like in the finance world, right? I mean, BSP is quite active, and so if you look at our financial industries, I think in terms of like maturity of their cybersecurity, I think they're already on industry standard, right? Um, so for all other cybersecurity professionals currently, I think you can also do your part, right? I mean, in that the things that you can control, like you can mentor, you can coach, you can share information to other people and say probably you can influence them to shift careers and make probably be a cybersecurity person that can help uh, to help have a digital secure Pilipinas. So yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Mark. It's multiplying the hackers. New priority anymore. Ship code.
Yeah, regarding that, I guess same pa rin ba yung panel questions yung sasagutin ko?
Yes, yes, the same pa rin.
All right.
What
Siguro
would be the
is
first thing that you should prioritize as a country?
siguro launching of things that we can hack legally. So one of that is Bagwandi programs, and then of course I think they should open some hacking competitions, like for example if they have like hack the Comelec, something like that, or because in the US they have like hack the Pentagon. So aside from the bug bounty programs, inviting researchers to you know do some of their research, like uh, Internet of Things na hacking escapade, tapos ipapresent nila findings, so that and then companies could they invite certain companies, and then there are targeted devices that hackers could play and then expose the vulnerabilities.
All right.
So yeah, something like that. Yun yung maganda, and then ask help from hackers and attend RootCon as well and other conferences, because maybe they could learn something from the people attending those conferences as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you, Ship Code. Essentially, more involvement by the government with the hacking
Yeah.
community. Okay. Last but not the least, Doc Mon.
I agree with a lot of the statements that already said, and for the government, they really need to invest and address the skill gap of their personnel. As of yesterday, right, we had the DDoS attack, and even their IT department is still called EDP, Electronic Data Processing, MIS, and that's so 1980s, right? We need to upgrade their skill set, their gaps, and maybe some regulations, because my experience with the government is they really cannot send training of job orders. Okay, you have to be plantilla. The problem with plantillas, they're very old. They're not very receptive to new technologies, and that's basically they're the ones running the show. Okay, the young ones are disheartened that they cannot get proper trainings and skill set. Okay, because it's the older guys that's gonna be sent to the training, but when they return, they basically were able to contribute very few uh, to address any issues in the infrastructure. Okay, and another more fundamental is still tied up with education. I do teach in the university. My experience is kids these days, they were never really taught how to secure their systems or their applications. They are taught how to make it work very efficient, very fast. It does work according to spec, but it's not secure. Okay, so when they go to the industry, and that's what we're seeing on my consulting, it's we're able to break into banking apps, fintech apps, control systems, because it does work according to spec, but it's not very secure. Okay, and that's the sad state. The only thing that the moment they're gonna learn to how to secure those stuff is if they got breached, which is practically too late at that point. So we need to really from the ground in the academe or even outside the academe. We need everyone to be aware of security exposures and vulnerabilities that's going to be out there. So and again, they're going to be developing applications and systems in the near future. It has to be as secure as possible to minimize the risk for the entire country per se.
All right. Thank you, Doc Mon. These are very, very great ideas. No, we need to allow full disclosure. We must close the skill gaps of our security practitioners. We need to look for the right infosec leader. We need to multiply the hackers and get more involvement by the government and improve infosec awareness and in the academe. So yung common theme na nakikita ko dito is the government must be an enabler and must be more involved with the real hackers. That's what I get from this. So we can perhaps go to the question and answer portion. Donnell, do we still have time to entertain the questions from the media or dito sa chat?
We can probably send it to them separately, sir.
Yes, sir.
Send it to them.
Shoot it, run it by the committee.
Sorry, Ms. Amor, maybe we could brush onto it. It could be answered simply by a few lines so that it's not unfair for our friends coming from the media.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, sige, let me start with Ms. Patricia Mirasol. Her question was cybersecurity-wise, how has the landscape changed since the first RootCon? Have our government regulations kept up with the changing demands of cybersecurity? Also, are end users nowadays smarter and more aware about how they can protect their data privacy? I guess Manong Semprix can best answer this. Manong Semprix? Our RootCon founder.
Cyber security.
Yeah, cybersecurity wise, how has the landscape changed since the first RootCon?
The first RootCon, actually, to be really honest with you guys, yun nga, as what was discussed during the panel, security here in the Philippines is really on its infancy stage. So it's a baby stage, and the community is growing, yes, but we need to really inform the public, the government, the private sectors that we are here. We're making progress. We're making changes. So that's it. So as to go back to the question, there's not too much changes since the first RootCon, because we're still at our baby stage.
All right. Thank you, sir. Second question is still again from Ms. Pat. End users of shopping platforms like Lazada occasionally receive phishing texts right after logging in to the platform. Should these e-commerce companies start consulting with the white hat hackers to protect their users from such phishing attempts? Have they already done so?
Boss Dan, I think I could answer this one.
Okay, go ahead.
For e-commerce sites or platforms, not only Lazada but for other businesses or startup shopping platforms, they do employ information security professionals. They're looking into it. I think in terms of falling into the cracks, where it falls into the cracks is reports. If people who are victimized do not report what they have experienced, then they could not fix it. So it's a two-way street. It's a give and take relationship we're in. Consumers should report it so it could be addressed by their professionals.
That's right. That's right. I agree with you. Third question is from Mr. Bads Hilario. Can white hat hackers be engaged to ensure the integrity of elections? I can answer this. Definitely yes, and highly recommended. Some of our panelists here can actually provide such services for the elections. What would you consider are the major milestones of RootCon and its biggest contribution to the international hacking world? Oh my God, mga 50 slides to eh. But very quickly lang, Sir Semprix from Rain de Ocampo. Major milestones.
Major milestones.
Major
Um,
milestones of RootCon and its biggest contribution to the international hacking world.
Yeah, so I think yung major contribution, major milestone namin is we were able to, as a community, we were able to, invite yung mga hackers na they're just on their shells. They came out, they joined RootCon, underground or private sector or whatever. So yung for the biggest contribution to the international hacking scene, these people or these hackers were already exposed at RootCon. I mean, they were already feel at home. So they felt at home already at RootCon. So when they go out to the international world, they always, feel comfortable and, just walk it out.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Okay. Shall I continue with the questions? Are the works of the white hat hackers regulated? Question from Rafi from Tech Patrol.
I think that was answered in shipcode in my slide during the keynote. We're in proper disclosure of vulnerabilities. That's how we regulate it for white hat hackers.
All right. Okay. Here's an anonymous question. Is white hat hacking a good career move for the tech immersed youth?
I'll take that.
Okay.
As a supreme recruiter for professional hackers and ethical hackers for different companies, yes, it is a good career move. I myself, I am embarking in a journey onto becoming a technical engineer with the company that I'm working for. So I'm very thankful for my mentors for letting me do that. So it's a good career move for the youth out there. If you're logged in listening to the FB Live, yes, please, they need you, especially with the evolving market for technology now. You are an essential.
Just to add, at RootCon, Sir Emanon here, we will be launching in the next couple of years, hopefully, a platform for finding a career in information security. So RootCon has been helping the community, new ones, younger bloods, land on a information security job. As what I forgot the panelist that mentioned it, that we need to multiply. So RootCon is always here, is there to, if you want to shift career, we can provide you some guidance on how to do it. And Emanon here is, planning a RootCon platform for us to be able to, help the young bloods go to InfoSec.
I would like to add something lang then, Sir Dan,
Go
about
ahead.
the question by the anonymous attendee about the good career move for tech immersed youth, no? So for me, I've read this study from ISC Squared na there's a huge gap nga, and I think na mentioned din to previously ng other panelists that there's a huge gap in the number of people needed in the cybersecurity market, and I guess it is the best time right now to start your career with cybersecurity. Even without having the initial knowledge, there are companies who could train you, and there are some conferences, trainings like RootCon na pwedeng tumulong sa inyo to kick off your career in cybersecurity and help the community in securing the world. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I would like to add to that. I'm a testament. I started with RootCon when I was 19 years old, and I was still on my second college during that time. So I was actually a former seminarian before that, and then because of RootCon, I got a career in information security and as a penetration tester. So yeah, I thank my mentors for that, and they gave me guides. So yeah, I was a seminarian during that time, but when I was a seminarian, I was already doing some IRC and hacking, building my own labs in the seminary during that time. I got bored out of it, so that's why I decided to become a hacker.
Okay, Shipcode, we'll just clarify, you did not give up Jesus, di ba? You're still God
hindi
fearing
naman.
till today.
Hindi naman.
Naman, di ba? Oh, kinaklarify ko lang. Kinaklarify
I
ko
was
lang.
actually slated for movement for Italy during that time, but for Regency, then I move out of the seminary.
All right. Let's
Sorry,
entertain the young. Yes, Emmanuel.
There's a relevant question to what we're talking about regarding the careers. One person anonymously said, "I'm 25. Can I still switch careers?" There's no age in cybersecurity or information security.
Definitely.
So,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Thank you, Emmanuel. Let's have the last question. Is there an institution that trains future hackers?
Boss Dev is training people. I've been wanting to join his class. RootCon is also giving trainings year on year.
Hacking 101.
Yes. So Sir at Tikbalang, reach out to him. Sir Shipcode is willing to mentor you for bug bounty. Sir Semprix is also there. You're a real hacker and you're interested in being a hacker. If you go on Twitter, follow these guys. They're perfect mentors. Doc Mon is right there. He's not busy with his PhD now, so engage him. He'd point you to the right direction. AJ's there. So all your panelists is there. They definitely help you.
All right. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Sir Dan, Sir Dev,
yes.
Sir Dev. I think this question is worth answering. Will the cybersecurity in our country, Philippines, improve and taken seriously?
Okay.
I think that's worth answering. I'll throw that to Doc Mon.
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Will the cybersecurity in our country, Philippines, improve and taken seriously?
Yeah, it has improved. We've been Dev has been there for the past 2 decades, right? Me maybe one. There's a lot of improvement over those years.
Shots fired.
Yeah, from you call this from just making things work and connecting to it, and now everyone's aware. And the main driving factor, I would say, is the compliance for Data Privacy Act, right? Because before, financial institutions are regulated by BSP, so they're gonna get spanked if they don't follow the regulations. But when Data Privacy Act was signed into law in 2012, and then eventually the commission was formed in 2016, everyone was afraid, sadly, that they're gonna violate the law and they're gonna get breached and they're gonna found negligent and they're gonna go to jail. So that practically sparked the compliance for cybersecurity. But as Mark mentioned, the compliance is not technically really security, but it does help. You are now aware on what data to collect, what not to process, how to lock it down, and in case there's a breach, you got sufficient controls in place, and you could just claim that it was a very complex one, but we did our part, so we're not negligent. So there really was a huge improvement from way back. Okay, but I am pointing to the Data Privacy Act that basically boosted the cybersecurity. But it's a bit weird, right? It's a protection for your data, but in turn, it boosted the cybersecurity community because there's a lot of requirements, there's a lot of compliance going around that practically stirred up the business.
All right, thank you, Doc Mon. Unfortunately, I have to wrap up this panel. It's been a very, very interesting panel discussion, and I wish we had more time. But on behalf of our press launch sponsors, Geyser Maclang, 8 Ventures, Digital Pilipinas, to name some, I'd like to thank our dear speakers for sharing their insights with us today. It's always a great learning opportunity to hear from subject matter experts like you guys. To our viewers, thank you. Stay secure and stay safe. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for that very stimulating and engaging discussion. I really enjoyed the talk about cybersecurity, and I was briefly very interested in hacking as well. However, we got busy. So I'm sure our viewers have gained very valuable insights into the world of hackers. I really did as well. So now we will proceed to the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between RootCon, Geyser Maclang Communications Incorporated, and Digital Pilipinas. To facilitate the ceremonial MOU signing, we may please request the members of RootCon as well as Ms. Maclang to pose for a group photo. Thank you very much. Lee will be handling the group photo as well. Everyone, kindly open your cameras, please. Okay, are we ready?
Ready, everyone? 1, 2, 3. And one more, please. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And now for our final speaker for today, Emanon is going to deliver the closing remarks. Please welcome him back to the screen.
All right, this is going to be sweet and simple. So as you've all heard from our panelists, this discussion, this press conference put together by Digital Pilipinas, by the way, thank you very much for putting this together and organizing this press conference. It's not just RootCon, but it also appeals to the individuals who are in technology engineering and information security that this press conference has brought you to. For our friends in the media, for our friends in the government, we would like to thank you for attending this press conference. We are looking forward for our government institutions to take this press conference as a challenge, wherein there are a lot of individuals and professionals out there who are willing to help you in terms of evolving your cybersecurity space. Now, all you have to do is get off your asses and just connect with us. Not just me as an individual, but the entire community. So with that said, I would like to also thank Ms. Amor Maclang for providing us an avenue or a channel to put out there information security as part of an awareness, not only for the government, but for everyone. We do hope that we continue to thrive with this type of relationship and partnership moving forward. Now, for others out there or friends in the media, I think you bear the biggest responsibility coming out of this press conference. Our friends from the media, you will be our channel or our avenue to bring forth that the community is present, the talent is present in the Philippines, the skill is present. The technology, however, is limited. But then again, with work and with help, we could all get to the level of information security that we also deserve. Now, for our press family, please go out there, spread the love, tell everyone that we're here, tell everyone that we exist, we're in the ecosystem. You have different companies that you could engage in terms of information security. You have different professionals. You've got Digital Pilipinas to follow. If you could not find us, you could find us through them. You've got RootCon. It's not just RootCon that happens year on year. There are different groups out there locally where you could start with. For those who are aspiring talents in becoming information security professionals, please take this as if it's not me convincing you, but it's me letting you know that there is a career out there for you guys. Like what AJ has mentioned a while ago when he was answering one of the panelist questions, there is a huge gap, and that's based on study, based on statistics. Now, that gap could be addressed by fulfilling the need. So with no further ado, I hope we were able to impart what we have in the community, what we have learned from our research, what we are and why we exist in the ecosystem. So again, thank you very much for your attendance, for taking your valuable time and spending it with us, listening to what message we're sending out there. So for everyone, have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that insightful closing remarks, Emanon. We still have a lot to unravel about the world of hacking, and we thank the RootCon community as well as KPMG Philippines, Sakuna, Gcash MYNT Globe FinTech Innovations Incorporated, Geyser Maclang Marketing Communications Incorporated, and Digital Pilipinas for giving us a glimpse of what is possible and what we can achieve as a country with the help of ethical hackers and cybersecurity experts who use their skills for the greater good and for the advancement of the nation. And that concludes our press launch for today. Please follow the Digital Pilipinas Facebook page for updates, as well as the RootCon Facebook page for news and information about the exciting hacking conference happening next week. We wish you all a good afternoon, and thank you very much for attending.
Building and maintaining a strong security posture for today's application is no longer an option, it's a necessity. Cybercriminals are now persistent. They would do everything to penetrate your application and steal your data. Companies need a security solution that keeps pace with rapid digital transformation and the evolving threat landscape. To defeat them, you have to be smarter than them. But this isn't an easy task. You have to ignite hundreds of the world's best cybersecurity professionals to outsmart them. So we at Secuna could help by connecting you to hundreds of the best cybersecurity professionals around the world. Here is how it works. Secuna collaborates with you to define the scope and goals of your program. Upon program launch, our roster of cybersecurity professionals, or what we refer to as Secuna Red Team, will test for security vulnerabilities in your applications. We then triage, validate, prioritize and provide you with a detailed report complete with vulnerability reproduction and remediation so you can focus on what's truly important. What's left for you to do? Award them for their reports to encourage them to perform more security testing. Why do customers choose Secuna? Trusted cybersecurity professional network. We screen all the cybersecurity professionals before we let them join our platform to ensure only the best of the lot get to work with you. Flawless vulnerability management. Handling of security vulnerability is now more easier and flawless. Secuna allows program owners to manage security vulnerability on their own. Continuous penetration testing. Cybersecurity professionals continuously run tests on your product while also working to remediate any discovered issues. Vulnerability patch verification. Right after you deploy a patch, cybersecurity professionals can retest the vulnerability and request to bypass it to validate the patch. Cybersecurity professional reputation. Top hackers are recognized based on hackers' quality of submissions. Seamless bug bounty payments. Regardless if you prefer bank transfer, PayPal, or Bitcoin, we accept all kinds of payments and we'll process the payments to our cybersecurity professionals. Ready to take your cybersecurity to the next level?